Kendrick Lamar dropped a new track. We don't know the title of it. Kendrick Lamar never really released the title. He just dropped this randomly on his Instagram page. The photo is black Air Forces, which we know as being, there's jokes online that, black Air Forces are people that don't give a fuck about taking people's lives, and they're the most reckless motherfuckers when they wear black Air Forces. White Air Forces are more, civilized people. That's the running joke online. And I'm sure Kendrick Lamar knows about it. That's why he used the black Air Forces, right? And this photo is from an eBay sale, actually, which is hilarious, which makes it even more funnier. And he dropped this track in the middle of the VMAs, the Video Music Awards that was happening. And it just kind of set off a storm. People were like, what the hell is this? Why did he drop a track? I can't wait to hear this. Is he sending shots at Drake? Is he this and that? I want to talk about the track, and I want to talk about some of the bars. Overall, for me, this track is Kendrick Lamar saying, I'm done. I'm done entertaining the bullshit. That's how I interpreted it. Everybody has their own interpretations. There are people who are saying this is a sneak diss at Drake, and this is, he's taunting Drake again. But what did Kendrick Lamar say? I think it was Euphoria. He says, what did he say, man? I can't remember word for word right now, man. It just slipped my mind. But he says, I'm not gonna be taking subliminal shots anymore. Like if I take shots at you, it's gonna be direct shots at you, right? And so I don't really see this as Kendrick Lamar taking a subliminal at him. I think if there's a clear Drake track going at Kendrick, then I think Kendrick will go directly at him. But there's been a lot of speculation on if Drake is actually dissing Kendrick anymore, and that's the unfortunate thing. Now, whenever Drake or Kendrick drop a track and Drake talks about something that could allude to Kendrick, people are going to say it's about Kendrick. And then whenever Kendrick drops a track and says something that could allude to Drake, they'll say it's about Drake. So let's go over, this track, and I want to talk about some of the bars here. I'm Terrence Crawford, Terrence Forden. Yeah, I'm whooping feet. So he starts out saying, I think it's time to watch the party die. This shit have gotten too wicked to apologize. It's different, getting whacked and disqualified. We even kill the killers because they taken innocent lives, burn a whole village. We start over. It's really that time. Just off the rip, I think, he's saying the party of entertaining beefs and ignorance. I think this is mainly a song about just the culture of hip hop and how the focus is just on ridiculous things and not about the craft of the music. That's how I interpreted really this whole song, but everybody has their own kind of interpretations. That's the thing about a lot of these, especially with this Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef, is when people are breaking down lyrics and videos and stuff, everybody has their own type of interpretation, unless you're just going straight off of Genius and what people have quoted on there. For the most part, everybody has their own interpretation. There's only a couple lines where everybody can agree, okay, this is about this, and it's very clear. But for the most part, I'm saying 80% is people's interpretation. That's all it is. So, when people say, on my breakdown videos where I broke down, the Kendrick tracks and the Drake tracks, people in the comments be like, no, he meant this, but no, I took it as this. I'm like, bro, how I view it and how you view it is two totally different things, unfortunately. I wish artists were a little bit more direct, but that's the genius in it as well. That's the fun in it in hip-hop, where you have to guess what these bars mean, and do they mean this? Are they tied to this? So on and so forth. There's a part where he says, just walk that man down. That'll do everyone a solid. It's love, but tough love sometimes got to result in violence. This is where I think he was talking to Drake. Because he talked about walking him down, I think on Euphoria. And he basically said, everyone wanted me to walk this guy down. Walking him down means is basically just sunning them, right? And just schooling them and all that stuff, and basically, owning them and, all that stuff, right? So when he in the song in Euphoria, he says, I'm going to walk him down, he felt he walked him down, did his thing, and then everybody wanted to see that, is what he's saying. He's saying that'll do everyone a solid, meaning everybody wanted to see that. Everybody was happy about that. And then he said, it's love, but tough love sometimes got to result in violence. So he's saying, I don't have these really, really hard feelings towards Drake where I hate this guy like that. But I just gave him tough love, and it resulted in a lot of vulgar and very direct shots at each other. Talking about family, wives, all this stuff. It got really, really down and dirty. So I think that's the part where he really kind of took Not really a shot, but just explained what happened with him with Drake, right? And then he said this: dirty Mac and bitches because your spirit is insecure. The flashy guy with nasty decisions, using money as a backbone. I want his head cracked before he's back home. This as well, you heard in Euphoria, you heard in 616 in LA, you heard in these tracks where Kendrick was going at Drake. You talk about you're very materialistic. All you care about is money. You don't have deeply rooted beliefs in things. You're not deeply layered. You're just this guy who just likes to mess with a bunch of women and just fucks off and just does whatever and gambles and all this stuff. We've heard of in the track. So you could say that this potentially could be referring to Drake, but I don't think it is, man. I think he's just talking about the culture in general, that a lot of artists just like to mess around with women, prostitutes, whatever, and they use that flashy lifestyle to hide their insecurities. Kevin Gates talks about this a lot. To a lot of credit to Kevin Gates. He says in a lot of interviews, he said, I used to, act tough. I used to wear all this jewelry. I used to do all this stuff just to hide my insecurities. That's the only reason I did it. And now he still wears jewelry here and there, but like back then it was a lot more. It was in his teeth. He took that out. He has regular teeth now. He had a bunch of chains, all that stuff. And, a lot of artists in hip hop, they do admit that, hey, I do all this flashy stuff because I am insecure deep down inside about a lot of things. And this kind of takes that away. It distracts people from who I am really as a person. So to me, I think he's just talking about hip hop and the industry in itself, the culture itself. I don't think he's directly going at Drake in this. And this is where I think he's going more at the music industry. He says this: I think it's time to watch the party die, street guys and the corporate guys, the rappers that report the lies. I need they families mortified. We can do life without them, get their bodies organized. Tell me if you obliged. So here he's saying, I'm tired of all these industry rappers that tell a bunch of lies to the audience. And then I'm tired of these street rappers that do all these insanely ridiculous stuff, like dig up people from the grave and clown them and ops this and clown dead people. Like, he's just basically saying, even the corporate people, basically the corporate people are obviously evil people as well. They just do evil behind closed doors and it's not as public. But he's just saying, I want all these guys out of here, from the dirty street rappers to the dirty corporate people. Get them the fuck out of here. So that's why I really think this track is mainly just about the industry, and saying watch the party die is actually a perfect kind of chorus on the track as a party with the VMAs is happening. And then this song also is kind of like a response to all the NFL Super Bowl backlash of people getting mad at Kendrick for doing this and that. And he's saying, he's basically responding to all of them saying, man, you guys are hypocrites. You guys get mad about this type of stuff, but then you guys don't even realize that you guys are doing all kinds of vicious and disgusting things over here. People speculate that he takes shots at academics as well. And academics got really mad at it. And I was like, I responded to him just be quiet, you Twinkie smuggler, because that's what I call him. He's a Twinkie smuggler. I got respect for academics and a lot of things done, but he lost my respect, at least, when he started acting tough around women and putting his hands on women, and then having a woman get fucked at his crib, like raped practically, even though he had nothing. At least from what I've seen, he had, like, in the video footage or the photos that was released, he wasn't there in that video footage. But to have a woman get raped in your house, like, you got to move more diligent, man. You got to have more authority. You got to have more respect from your peers and the people you're around. If that shit happened, I'll be disgusted with myself if somehow I let that slide happen. If I had a house party and any male did anything to a female, I would beat his ass. I would beat the brakes out of him right there on spot. Pistol whip him, whatever the fuck I got to do. And I don't care if a lawsuit comes. I don't tolerate any of that shit. But yeah, academics, my kind of issue with him is he acts really tough towards women. And then when it comes to men, he'll act tough online and then, never really goes out or does anything. So that's my kind of issue with academics. But then, in this track, they're saying that Kendrick Lamar took shots at academics because academics is siding with Drake and always, jumping back and forth. He says the radio personality pushing propaganda for salary. Let me know when they turn up as a casualty. Also, for what it's worth, Nipsey Hussle clowned academics. Before he passed. This was in 2018. And he didn't like academics at all. Because academics, he'll push this propaganda and he'll encourage violence. he'll do all this stuff, but won't actually be outside with these artists and actually having proper conversations and stuff. And, you know, it's very hypocritical. Now, has he toned it down? Has he matured, Academics? Hell yeah. He's done a lot better since he started, obviously with the war in Chirac and stuff like that. Wholeheartedly, I agree. He's matured a lot, but he's got a lot more maturing to do, man. I think the stuff that he pushes, the narratives that he pushes, and the request for violence is just corny. This is what this is what Nipsey also said about Academics back in 2018.
Everybody got some beef with Academics.
I don't got beef with dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call a spade, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And one thing I get personally offended by, bro, you got young kids that come from nothing, that change their family life, you know, that change their own life, that, you know, avoid death in jail through hip hop. So I don't like people playing with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't like, you know, I had an issue with Complex that I was very vocal about, because I felt they was taking a bougie approach to artists. And we don't, my thing is like, you know, number one, only your parents could put their hands on you, right? Because they raised you,
right?
And they put the love in you. That's why only your parents. That's why you only respect an ass whooping from your mama or your daddy,
right?
Because they did shit to balance that, fed you, clothed you, taught you right from wrong. So you gonna take the discipline and the critique. So for me, it's like, if you ain't come from hip hop culture, for real, if you don't come from where this thing started, if you don't come from the energy that created this thing, and that people are drawn to this thing because of, be careful how you critique this thing, bro, because your opinion has not been validated.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
It hasn't been validated. So when I hear somebody like, dude, you know, saying things like for example, they said recently that 21 Savage said that he stopped buying jewelry, and that he gonna spend his money on investing. You know, that's a powerful message.
It is. Absolutely.
For somebody that people follow, and that's from a young generation. And Academics criticized him and said, I don't want to hear nothing but killing, and I'm about to kill the ops, and I don't want to hear that from 21 Savage. That shit right there get you fucked up.
That's coon talk. That's coon talk.
And we supposed to fuck niggas up for that. Period.
Yeah.
We ain't supposed to be understanding. We supposed to catch you at Complex Con or wherever you at, and we supposed to spank you for that.
Yeah.
And you supposed to learn, I was wrong. We ain't supposed to do nothing you can't fix.
Yeah.
We ain't supposed to take the overboard. We supposed to fuck you up for that.
Yeah.
Because you're going to respect something, bro. You ain't going to play with niggas like that.
Yeah, so, you know, that's a perfect example. 21 Savage talks about selling his jewelry, and Academics clowns and says, I don't want to hear shit like that from you. That's corny, right? That's the most corniest thing you could say. Obviously, this was in 2018, so I think, at least from what I've seen from Academics, I don't watch his live streams, but what I've seen from Academics is he has matured a lot more. Now, that should come with age. I would hope. The guy's in his, like, mid-30s by now, so I would hope he's matured a lot more. But, back to, you know, the topic, Kendrick Lamar kind of goes at him and says, you know, he should turn up as a casualty. At least people are speculating. He also says, if you parade in gluttony without giving truth to the youth, the graveyard is company. Influencers talk down because I'm not with the basic shit. But they don't hate me. They hate the man that I represent. The type of man that never dick ride because I want a favor. Round of applause, man. That's the thing, man. Same with me. I don't dick ride. I don't give a fuck whether a influencer like Academics or whatever fucks with me or not. I could give two fucks, right? That to me never, you know, the relationships in hip hop, content creation, and media, I don't really give two fucks about whether you fuck with me or not. You don't want to give me props for the work that I've done or not. Doesn't matter to me, right? I could give two fucks. Now, I know I started a lot of the shit that a lot of people are copying and pasting. I know that. But it is what it is, man. People are going to, you know, do what they do, and it just is what it is. I have ideas. I mean, the ideas I have is like astronomical. I just don't have the budgets to do a lot of them. But once I get, you know, certain things lined up correctly, then I'll be doing stuff that, like, you know, that I know nobody else is doing, right? Like I go back to this documentary because nobody's doing it. I'm about to reach 1 million views on it on the YouTube. Is the Give It a Try documentary? Who did an album track for track breakdown, took their hard-earned money, put a lot of money into it, by the way. This is not just $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000. I put a lot of money into it and dropped it on YouTube like it's a Netflix documentary. Come on, man. There's levels to this shit, and people can take styles of videos that I do and this and that, but they can never take what's in my brain. So I agree here with Kendrick, you know, I've never dick ride or try to get on somebody's platform and say this, and you know, I give props where it's due, and whether content creators want to fuck with me or not doesn't matter, man. I really don't give a fuck. Most of these content creators or influencers are corny as shit in real life. They're basically losers that just happen to get some type of clout or attention online, and that's it. What I like about it though is it does help a lot of people, you know, in their situations, and they end up like doing something with their life that they love to do. But most of these people don't love what they're doing. They're just doing it for a quick buck, and then they're moving on. You know, and I've been doing a lot of what I do for free for years. I mean, when I had the hip hop website back in 2008, 2009, I was doing that free for like 4 years. I didn't give a shit about getting paid. I just liked talking about hip hop. So I've been doing hip hop related content since 2008 as a kid. In 2008, how old was I? I was like 13 years old, 12, 13 years old. Yeah, about 13 years old in 2008. So I've been doing this since 13. I've been doing it more than half my life. I'm 29 now. So I've been doing it whether I got paid or not. Obviously now it's a business. I have employees. I got stuff that I have to take care of, bills. So I have to, you know, get paid from it. But back then as a kid, bro, I didn't give a shit. I just did the content because I like to do it. And those are the ones that are going to stay and stick around. Not the people that copy and paste, the people that hop on trends and all this shit. They're going to eventually go away, and they're just going to burn out, because that's what happens. You burn out eventually, like I did. I burned out at a certain point. But me, I transitioned into a different thing and then started maneuvering and, you know, figuring out different things that work. And I like to do different, bigger projects. You know, after the Get Rich one, eventually I'm going to stack up some money and do something bigger than that one. You know, so it's just going to take me time. And yeah, I'm getting on a whole different rant here. But, you know, continuing on, you know, he might have, like I said, released a track because of the Super Bowl thing as well. But, you know, most people don't know, man. Most people don't know what the track's about. It could just be about random shit that Kendrick's just feeling on his mind. I do know the second he dropped it, though, you know, people were speculating, oh, is this a diss at Drake and all that? But